10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Our Almighty Heavenly Parent, in this, as we bring to a close the 6th year of Cheonilgok, we are particularly grateful for the tremendous grace that Heavenly Parent has given us. We offer our bow as we begin this new year of 2019. And as we usher in this new year, the year of the golden pig, we know that this year will be particularly significant as we march forward towards the realization of your kingdom in this nation. In particular, we remember the centenary of the March 1st movement, when Christians, students, professors, and citizens alike came together to shout and to proclaim Manse for the independence of Korea. 2019 marks the centenary of the March 1st independence movement in the Korean peninsula. And looking at the history of this nation, countless patriots, righteous men and women, yearned for the independence of this nation.
그들의 정성과
And through their 정성
수고가
and efforts,
오늘날 남북이 하나 되지 못한
Korea of today was born. Unfortunately, Korea remains divided between North and South, and whether through political will or efforts by religious leaders, human efforts alone cannot bring about the long-cherished reunification of this nation. As we stand in this momentous occasion, in particular, with regards to the completion of heaven's providence, we know that heaven has embraced and raised this people over a long period of time, and fully aware of the truth of this providential history, the people of this nation must realize the importance of this truth more than at any other time. For decades, a unified Korea has remained the hope of this people, but the unification of Korea is impossible with human efforts alone. It is only when Heavenly Parent, the true owner of the universe, is attended by the people of this nation, and when the people of this nation accept and receive the blessing of true parents, that the true reunification of Korea, the unified Korea that all the people around the world yearn for a nation without
종교의
division,
벽,
a
문화의 벽,
nation with no divisions and no
인종의 벽,
barriers of race,
모든
culture,
인간들이 만들어 놓은
nationality,
벽들을
or any other man-made divisions
제거할 수
are
있는
no longer
방법은
existing.
오직
The only way to
참
achieve
주인이신
such a unified nation
창조주
is
하나님
by attending God, our Heavenly
그분의
Parent, and the true owner of the universe.
소원을 꿈을
It is also
이루어드리는
by realizing the dream of Heavenly Parent,
타락한
the
세계에서
wish of Heavenly Parent,
완성한
by guiding fallen
참
humanity
부모를
to
맞지 않으면은
following our perfected true parents and
하나님의
receiving the blessing,
아들 딸이 될 수
and in
없는
so doing to be born
그러한
as God's beloved sons and daughters. We fully realize
깨닫게 되는
and understand the
오늘의
importance of this solemn
인류가
day, and in
되기를
particular
소원합니다.
it is our wish that humanity today can
이
understand
나라의
this tremendous truth.
통일 한국을 놓고도
With regards to the unification of Korea,
하늘 부모님이
we
되셔야만
know that it is only when the true owner, Heavenly Parent, is at the center
오랫동안
that the
영원하는
unification of Korea that we have been yearning for eons can finally
한민족의
truly be realized, and the divided
그
Korean
꿈이
people
이루어지는
can unite as one people under Heavenly Parent.
하늘이 선택한 민족으로서의
As the people chosen and raised by heaven,
책임을 다하는
may this people
이 나라가 되지 않게
and
될
this
때
nation fulfill its responsibility, because on the day when this
과거
nation fails to fulfill its
하늘이
responsibility,
보여주신
we know fully what
역사를
happens
통해서
to a nation that fails in its responsibility.
우리는
And we have learned through history of the tremendous indemnity that befalls
기필코
those who fail in their responsibility.
하늘이
Hence,
축복하신 민족으로서의
without fail,
책임을
as a
다하는
people blessed by heaven, may this people and this
통일된
nation
한국이
fulfill
됨으로써
their responsibility and usher in the day
하늘
of the
부모님을 모신
unified Korea
통일 한국이
and
됨으로써
become the unified heavenly Korea that attends
이
Heavenly
민족의
Parent,
미래가 있다는 것을
so that this nation may have a future,
희망이 있다는 것을
may have hope.
여기 모인
Hence,
2만여 명의
the 20,000
가정들은
blessed families gathered here today,
이제 우리가 하늘 앞에 약속한
we
2020을
pledge
놓고
before heaven that with regards to 2020,
1년밖에
only
남지
one
않은
year
이 해에
is left. And in this year,
기필코
the final year before
이 나라
2020,
백성들이
without fail, the people of this
주인이
nation
참 주인이
will
누구이심을 아는 백성으로서
finally understand and recognize who
천일국의
is the true
백성으로서
owner of this nation
축복받은
and become
민족으로서의
blessed
하늘 앞에
families who
책임을
receive
다하는
the
민족이
blessing,
되어서
become a people who fulfill their responsibility as
세계
the
앞에
chosen people,
중심
and
국가로서의 책임을
help this
다하는
nation fulfill its mission
이 나라
as the central
백성들이
nation
되기를
in God's providence around the world. It is indeed our earnest
하늘
wish
부모님,
that the people of this nation may fulfill their responsibility, Heavenly Parent.
수많은 역경과 난관 가운데
We know that heaven has had to endure
이
countless
민족을
trials and tribulations,
붙들어 오신
unspeakable suffering
하나님은
and difficulties.
사랑과 은사
Despite
앞에
all these challenges, heaven has blessed this nation and this people,
감사
embraced and filled with grace this nation.
감사합니다.
We truly, truly are grateful.
이제 이 민족이 알아야 되겠습니다.
The time has come for the people of this
섭리의
nation
완성을 놓고
to truly understand the truth of heaven,
때를
that the
잃어버리는
time has come
이
to
민족이
bring
되면은 안
to
되겠습니다.
fruition the completion of the providence.
2000년 전
This people must not
4,7년 동안
miss the propitious time, the
길러나온
adequate time,
이스라엘 민족을 통해서
through the
예수
people
그리스도를
of
보내주셨습니다.
Israel that heaven raised and prepared for
그
4,000
민족이
years.
예수님의
God sent His
본질을
only begotten
몰랐기에
Son, Jesus Christ. And yet, despite heaven's
예수님을
efforts, the people of Israel
십자가로
failed to
내모는
recognize Jesus' essence, His identity, and the purpose of His advent,
참담한
to the point where Jesus had no choice but to walk the
역사를
miserable, the
만들었습니다.
tragic path of the cross.
그 민족은
The history that should never have happened
어떻게 되었습니까?
happened. And what happened to
책임
the
못한
people
민족으로서
of Israel? As a
2000년
people who
동안
failed in their providential
나라 없는
responsibility,
민족으로
they had to pay indemnity for 2,000 long years as a people without a nation.
2차 대전 때는
During World War II,
600만이
6
학살당하는
million were
그러한
mercilessly massacred.
한감을 치른
Such
역사를 우리는 압니다.
incredible indemnity had to be paid. And we're fully aware
하늘이 그동안
of the indemnity and the history that
수고하시어
happened.
준비하신
Likewise, heaven has worked through millennia,
인류의
toiling to raise the people
부모가
of
될 수
Korea,
있는
so that on the foundation of heaven's providence, true parents could come on this earth. And if these
민족의
people
결과입니다.
fail to uphold the true parents,
하늘은
we also know what indemnity shall befall this nation.
이 한 민족을 택하시어
Heaven chose and
섭리의
raised this
완성을
nation
볼 수 있는
with the hope of bringing to a conclusion
탄생시키기
the
위한
fulfillment
준비를
of God's
하셨습니다.
providence, raising and preparing this nation for the advent of the only begotten daughter.
그래도
Despite countless trials and
하늘을 붙들고 나온
tribulations,
이 민족 앞에
standing before this
나라 없는
nation
민족으로서의
as a nation without a
그 고통을
territory to call its own, heaven toiled through countless difficulties,
아시옵니다.
and heaven is fully aware of the providential history
그러나 이
that took
민족
place
앞에
for this nation to welcome true parents.
해방과 더불어
Together with the liberation of Korea,
찾아온 것은
unfortunately, what befell this
남북이
nation
갈리는
was the division of this
민주화
nation into
공산의
North and South Korea, with the communist north in the north and democracy in the south.
여기에 하늘은
Nonetheless,
6.25 동란을 통한
despite the Korean War,
이 남한의 민주주의가
democracy flourished in South
무력해질
Korea,
수밖에 없는 그때에
and at the time when the
하늘은
nation
기적과 같이 유행군을
was
보내시어
on the verge of
이
being overrun by
남한의
communist
민주주의를
forces,
지켜주셨습니다.
heaven mobilized the UN forces and came to the aid to defend this nation.
창조 원칙에 있어서
This is because in accordance with God's principle of creation,
성장 기간을 주셨기에
God gave a period of growth to all human beings.
성인이 될 수
Likewise,
있을 때까지
until the
하늘을
only
믿고
begotten
왔습니다.
daughter could reach maturity, heaven had the responsibility to
1960년에
protect the only begotten daughter, and that
참 부모
is how
자리에
in
나아갔습니다.
1960 the only begotten daughter reached the
그러나
age where
기독교
she
기반이
could
환경이 되어지지
participate in
못한
the holy wedding and appear before humanity as a true
자리에서
mother. Unfortunately, despite the
이차에서부터
true parents'
출발해요.
best efforts,
50여
the
년이
Prepared
걸쳐서
Christian Foundation failed to accept true parents, and true parents had to
전
begin in the
세계적인
humblest of
기반을
positions.
찾기까지
And beginning from 1960 until true parents could establish a global foundation, we are fully aware that heaven toiled,
너무도
shedding blood, sweat, and tears, enduring unspeakable suffering.
감사드리옵니다.
And for that we are truly, truly,
당신의
truly grateful.
뜻은 기필코
Without fail,
보아야 하겠기.
Heavenly Parent, your will must be fulfilled without fail.
참 부모는
Therefore, true parents who have the responsibility of bringing to completion your will, true parents invested everything.
2020을
And
1년
now
남겨놓은
that we are 1 year
2020년에는
away from 2020, in this year
가는
of the
12주의
pig,
마지막 해로서
we are in the final year of the 7-year providence
공자년을
to
출발할 수 있는
2020. We are now able
그때를 향해서는
to begin the year of the pig.
기필코
And it is our hope that before 2020,
할 수 있는
all the people of this nation can accept heaven's blessing, become blessed families who fulfill their responsibility, and can return to God's bosom where they can be welcomed by Heavenly Parent as my son and daughter. And this nation must become the homeland of God's providence.
가정들은
All blessed families gathered here today
사생결단
must
전력
pledge to
기필코
give their lives
하늘 부모님이 바라시는
for the fulfillment
하늘
of God's
부모님이 들어서
providence,
쓰셔야 할 이
so
민족,
that this
하나님의
nation
종이 되어야 할 이
can
나라가
become the homeland of the perfection of God's providence, and the people of this nation can all work with one heart and one mind for the fulfillment of God's providence, such that this nation can become the nation that Heavenly Parent originally planned. This nation must be educated in God's providence. Grant that there is not a single individual around the world that does not receive God's blessing. And when these people
무엇이 걱정이 있겠습니까?
completely accept Heavenly Parent, what is there to be afraid of? What is there to be worried about? When this nation becomes a nation unified, centering on Heavenly Parent, the dream of realizing one family under God will be realized, and we shall realize the kingdom of heaven on earth and become the proud, blessed central families. That is our wish. As we begin this year, beloved Heavenly Parent, please accept our wishes. We are always lacking, we are always inadequate, falling short of our responsibilities standing before you. However, please accept our best efforts
대한민국이 될
and
것을
grant that the Republic of Korea can
하늘
become
부모님과
the nation that is
이 민족과
absolutely
전 세계
united
앞에
for the sake of
축원
God's providence.
선포하나이다.
I pray all these things in the name of true parents.
이제 대망의 2019년이 밝았습니다.
And now
신동일한 시대 개문을 위해서
2019 has
20분간
begun.
간절한
And
축도를
now,
내려주신
True
참모모님께
Mother has given us
뜨거운
a
감사의 박수를
heartfelt prayer
올려드리겠습니다.
for 20 minutes. Let us give a big round of applause to our beloved True Mother.
신동일한 국가
At this
신세계
moment,
안착을 위해서
I would like,
출발하는
we are
시간에
now beginning
참
this
부모의
year
말씀을 듣는
with
시간을
a
갖겠습니다.
firm
다시
heart
한번
of
박수로
resolve.
모시겠습니다.
We will now hear Mother's message. Please give another big round of applause to our beloved
자리에
True Mother.
앉아주시기 바랍니다.
Everyone, please take your seats.
사랑하는 축복
Beloved,
여러분,
blessed families
전 세계에서
and beloved,
시청하고 있는
blessed families
축복 가정 여러분,
who are watching today's event live throughout the world. I truly love all of you.
우리는
We,
기필코
without fail,
하늘 부모님의 꿈
must realize the dream of Heavenly Parent and the historical wish of humanity.
앞장서는
We need to take the
자랑스러운
lead
축복
by
가정들
becoming
힘을
the blessed families, the proud
선포합니다.
blessed families. That is my proclamation today.
하늘의 섭리는 놀랍습니다.
Heaven's providence is
아까
truly
기도에서도
amazing.
얘기했듯이
As I mentioned during my midnight prayer,
10간 12지 아시는 분은 아실 겁니다.
those who know shall recognize the propitious time.
금년해가 12돌기의
And
마지막 해입니다.
this is the last year in a
2020
12-year cycle.
새롭게
And
출발되는
it is
해가
also the year that marks the beginning of
우리
the march towards 2020.
한국의
Therefore,
축복 가정 여러분들이
all of you blessed families, in particular blessed families in Korea,
과거 우리들의 선조들이 염원했고
please remember the
많은
ardent wish with
어려운
which
환경
our
가운데서도
ancestors toiled tirelessly, hoping for this
민족을
day, a day when our people
선구자의
could
길을 걷고
live in freedom and
자랑스러운
happiness. They lived
우리의
as martyrs, as pioneers,
선조들을
despite countless
가지고
persecutions.
그러나
Our
그들은
ancestors sacrificed
하늘의
themselves
섭리는 몰랐습니다.
for the sake of a greater ideal, and yet they
왜
did not fully understand God's
이렇게
providence. They did not fully understand why
모든 인류가
our people had to suffer so much,
평화로운 세계를
and
원하고
why,
있지만
despite the ardent wish of humanity, which is the realization of a world of peace, why is it that not even once in 6,000 years of human history there was not a period marked by peace, free from war
잘못되었기
and
때문입니다.
discord?
우리는
It is because the origin
그 원인을
could not be fulfilled. We know what the true origin is. We know
알고
the
있는
cause
입장에서
of the human fall.
모르는
Therefore,
사람들을
we who know the
교육해야
truth
하는
of heaven must teach this
원래
truth to those who do not know.
우주의 주인은
Originally,
창조주 하나님이십니다.
God is the true creator. He's the origin.
오늘날의 전 세계는
And
200여 개국이 넘습니다.
Today, when we look at the world,
한 나라나
there
다른
are more than 200 nations,
자기
both
것이라고 합니다.
great and humble nations. And yet the common point is all nations claim that they are the owners of this world, of its resources.
하나님인데
But the true owner is God the Creator. And unless God recognizes a nation,
있을 수 없습니다.
there can be no true nation. Unless God recognizes our human ownership,
우리는
we cannot own anything. That is why
아는 입장에서
we who are in a position of knowing God's will
하나님의
must
자녀가 되는 그 자리만이
truly ascend to the position of becoming God's true children. And when God gives us something, it truly becomes ours. It is only when we receive from God that we can own what God has given us.
일들을 놓고 볼 때
Therefore, when we look at the various phenomena happening around the world today,
우리가 할 일은
what we need to do
하나님을 알게 해 주어야 합니다.
is our responsibility is to help others
창조주
know
하나님,
and learn about God. God is the creator who created heaven and earth.
여자를 창조했습니다.
God in the beginning created the first human ancestors, a man and a woman, to become the true parents of humanity. And God gave them a special blessing, which is to go through a period of growth, reach maturity in absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience, and reach the position where they could receive God's blessing, where they would become the true substantial embodiment of heavenly parent, and thus become the true parent, the true ancestor, and the true first ancestors of humanity. Despite such tremendous blessings, Adam and Eve, who had the potential to become the first human ancestors, failed to fulfill their responsibility and lost their identity. That is why heaven had no choice but to initiate the tremendously painful, arduous, and tearful history of the providence of restoration through indemnity. Heaven had no choice but to initiate the providence of restoration. How painful must this providence have been, that it took 4,000 biblical years before God could send His only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, on this earth. However, despite heaven's best efforts, neither Mary, who bore Jesus, who gave birth to Jesus, nor the people of Israel, nor the Jewish leaders of the time recognized Jesus' true identity. Christians today believe that they will find salvation through the blood of Christ on the cross. But as He laid on the cross, Jesus prophesied that He would come again, and come again to host the holy wedding of the Lamb. Therefore, anyone who is truly wise would wonder when, where, and how would the only begotten daughter, the bride to be of Jesus, would come. That should be the focal point of Christians. Where would the only begotten daughter come? God is almighty, omniscient, and omnipotent. God has the exact same beginning and end. Therefore, God has no choice but to be victorious in the fulfillment of His ideal.
그것이
However,
문제가
the biggest issue was that God gave human beings a special blessing, a portion of responsibility,
나오기까지
and
6천년을
until
기다리셨습니다.
this is realized, until true parents could be born on this earth, God had to wait 6,000 long biblical years. And at the center
한반도 이
of this yearning, this waiting for true parents, God blessed the Korean peninsula. God blessed the Republic of
그렇다면 이
Korea.
대한민국이
Therefore,
참 부모의
the Republic
축복을
of
받는
Korea
백성이 되어야
is a
되겠지요.
people who must all receive true parents' blessing. Isn't that so? Yes.
책임해야 합니다.
We need to fulfill our responsibility because every blessing entails a responsibility, and failure to fulfill that responsibility only engenders greater indemnity.
주어진 시간은
The time that we have been
1년입니다.
given is
아시겠습니까?
finite. It is 1 year. Do you understand?
이 기해년에
In this
기필코
year of the pig,
국가복귀
without fail, we must realize national restoration. We must receive the right of citizens of Cheonilguk and push ahead without stopping. Push ahead with all of your energies. 아주.
예, 여러분 모두 자리에
Yes,
일어나서
once again, everyone,
우리
please
귀한
rise.
말씀을 주신
Let us
어머니께
give a
감사와
big
결의의 박수를
round of
힘차게
applause to our
올려드립시다.
beloved true mother for giving us such precious words of truth.
감사합니다.
Thank you, true mother.
다음에는
Next,
선진 장부모님께서
in attendance to true mother, mother is going to
염원을 담은
hit the gong
새로운 휘호를
and give us a new calligraphy, a new motto for the new year.
한국 시대를
And
개몽해주시는
mother is first going to hit the gong, and then she will give us a new motto for the year.
치시겠습니다.
Mother will now hit the gong.
예, 다시 한번 주십니다. 또 한 번 주십니다. 시대 개문 안착을 내려주셨습니다.
The motto that mother has given us is the firm establishment of the era of the heavenly unified Korea. And now we will offer flowers to our beloved true mother, Reverend Song Kwang-seok, Chairman of UPF Korea, and Mrs. Choi Young-sun, President of Women's Federation Korea, will offer flowers to true mother. Let us give a round of applause as a true mother receives the flowers representing everyone. Next, in order to light the era of the heavenly unified Korea, True Mother will light the holy candle. And now all the leaders who will be receiving the holy candles from True Mother should please come on stage. Our beloved True Mother, as we begin the year, Mother is going to give the holy candle to all the leaders from around the world. Yana님, Hunsung님, Mrs. Wonju McDavid, Reverend Lee Gi-sung, and Dr. Yoon Young-ho will now receive the candle, will have their candles lighted by True Mother.
이어서 천일국 세계
Next,
지도자들께서
leaders
신한국가족연합
from
지부장들과
around the world,
섭리기관장들에게
heads of providential
전수해 주시겠습니다.
organizations and also sub-regional leaders will have their candles lighted by the 5 leaders whose candles were lighted from the main candle that True Mother lighted.
이제 참석한 모든 분들께서는
And now,
준비된 LED
all
성초의
the
불을 밝혀주시기 바랍니다.
Members from around Korea, please turn on the LED candles that you've been given.
(2019년) 기해년 새해
And now as we
천지인
welcome
참
this new
부모님께서
year
전수해
2019,
주신 신통일한국의 성초
True Mother
천일국의
has
촛불은
given us
100년 전
the light
인도의
of
시성 탁으로가 노래한
2019,
동방의 등불,
and this will
즉
become the
신령과 진리의
light
등불이 되어
of the East,
전
the
세계를
light of truth
밝히게 될
that
것입니다.
Tagore spoke of 100
이제
years ago.
축도와 말씀을
And
통해
now through
천지인
her
참
prayer
부모님께서
and her
배문해
message,
주신
True
신통일
Mother
한국
has
시대의
opened the
안착을
era
영원하며
of
우리
the
모두
firm establishment
전해진
of the
등불을
unified
높이 들고
heavenly
흔들며
Korea.
통일의
And
노래를
now
반주에
let us
맞춰
raise
다
the
함께
candles we
부르시겠습니다.
have and sing together the song of unification together.
이제 참
Now,
부모님께서
Our
퇴장하시겠습니다.
beloved true mother will exit
은혜롭고
the stage.
감격스러운 신통일
This
한국시대
really was
대문
a
범국민
wonderful,
기도회를 주관해 주시고
moving
축복해
opening
주신
of
천지인
the era of the
참모님께 감사의
unified
예를
heavenly
올리겠습니다.
Korea. Let us
천지인
offer
참모님께
a bow to true
경배.
parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. 경배.